It's true. We're live. Come on. We're live.
All right, we're live. Sean is coming into play. Kevin, I'm going to let you start it off as you are the host. I am just.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching the National Schedule Reveal Show. My name's Kevin Bailey. I'm Chief of Content, Captain for Grand Valley. Let's go around and just introduce everyone.
Colin, why don't you start?
I'm Colin O'Brien. I'm the captain of Michigan State and president. Third year in the league.
Felix. He's going to be quiet.
Hi. Oh, hey, I'm Felix. I'm the treasurer of the league, if you didn't know. And sorry, I'm trying to figure out other things right now.
He's producing everything.
Trying to get Nick in here.
Jake.
All right, hey, I'm Jake. I'm Jake Leski. I'm from CMU. I'm the president of the Senior Club Dodgeball team.
All right, and I'm
Third year in the league. Third year in the league, I think.
all right. I'm Sean Smith, president of Towson, fourth year in the league, and that's it.
Ooh.
All right. Well, I guess you guys want to start talking about the schedule, or should we wait for Nick for that?
Let's do a little bit of talk about what's different in this year in terms of the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Bailey, why don't you start?
So for anyone that doesn't know, it's going to be the Michigan versus the world this year in the All-Star game. Zigmas, do you remember what the numbers are? How many from each?
The Michigan team will have 26 teams, or sorry, 26 players. No, 24.
24, 6 each.
6 by 6, 6 by 4.
That
And the world will have a total of 14 teams representative, which includes the 12 teams playing in the tournament, as well as Akron and Baldwin Wallace, which are making an appearance, which is always good. They will have a total of 26 players. And actually, we just came into this today as an idea. Each team will have their own ball that represents them in the league in the All-Star match. So, like, say we give a ball to the All-Stars of Michigan State, Michigan MSU. They sign the ball. It'll be green because their color is green, and that will represent them in the All-Star game. They'll start off with that ball, and stuff will ensue. Same
Wait.
for any other team. So.
Does that mean I have to get a yellow ball?
And it'll be.
Does that mean I have to get a yellow ball because all Towson has are red ones and like one purple?
No. The good news is that WKU is buying the multicolor balls. So if you get them in the packs of the PG 8.5, which is our league sponsored ball, it comes in red, yellow, orange, blue, green. 6 colors. I'm missing one. Purple. Purple. So everyone's gonna have something close. Bailey, anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a cool idea. Also, wasn't the last time they did Michigan versus the world at Western Kentucky as well? I think, Felix, you might know that.
Yeah, it was. That was the first year of the All-Star game as well. That was a concept, actually, that Josh Raymer came up with. And the tradition just kind of continued on after that. Everyone had a good time at Michigan versus the world the first time around. So Spencer the next year ended up turning it into a hat game. We drew names out of a hat, which also was fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, anyone else have something to say about the All-Star game?
Real quick from my end, since I'm the only one who's a player on this broadcast who's on the world side of things, I've been kind of keeping this quiet until this was locked in to happen, but I like the idea. I feel happy for the world side though a little bit more because while we may want more representation in an All-Star game, it could be detrimental since we're doing it on a Sunday to the Michigan side because they're throwing in 6 of their own players. So this will make Sunday a lot more interesting.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, hopefully we won't waste our arms. Does anyone know if Nick's almost?
I think he was logged into the wrong email account.
Okay, so he'll be with us shortly, hopefully. I guess Zigmas, you want to talk about just the way that we picked the different pools? It wasn't really pools this year, but do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So in many previous years, we've, as a league, have done a lot of pool play stuff. So you'll have, I think even in the very early years of, well, let's go back to Nationals 2011, that is played in pool play and kind of set in the region. So like Michigan would play Ohio, or I don't remember exactly how it went, but the idea was that. And there's a certain problem with that when you get to playing a lot of different teams and the broad thing in the league. So the best thing, what we did and what we came up with this year as an executive board with some big help from Felix Perrone from doing a lot of stuff, was doing matchups. So there is no pools this year. It's your team plays a guaranteed, you play 3 matches against somebody else. We'll go through all the whole rounds later on in this thing, but it was basically set up to hold whoever called. So we did a poll against everybody, and whoever wanted to play somebody that was unique. So like say Towson wanted to play 2 or 3 different other teams that they might have never ever played before. We took that into consideration as a you call them match. And then the next thing up for one of the other ones was something that's strength, so like something that's close to Towson in terms of strength. So they'll have a slightly even match. And then the other one was based on who played who in the season. So we had over 150 matches played this season, which is an insane statistic that I don't think the youngins really appreciate how much dodgeball that is and how many teams we have playing nowadays. So count yourselves lucky. In past years, like 2010, 2011, the games at Nationals exceeded the games that were played in the regular season.
Yeah.
Nowadays, the games at Nationals are a little bit less weight in terms of playing. CMU played over 30 games. I think they had 33 or something like that. That's just an insane amount of dodgeball. And congrats for Grand Valley and CMU for playing so many games this season.
We'll put it on your tab. You're welcome.
So that's generally how we came up with these pools, or not pools, but matchups, is who played who wanted to play somebody, and relative terms of strength of whatever was available. Felix, do you want to go in a little bit more on that?
Sure. Mainly what I focused on is I created a chart of what teams wanted to play each other. We wanted to give you guys what you want because in the past, there's always been some sort of discrepancy. Nobody's been 100% completely happy with their schedule. So our hope is by this year giving you at least one game that you requested personally. We will help to make you guys happy, help to make your Nationals experience that much better. That being said, I also did take into account, as Zig said, who played who this season. Out of all of the games that we have scheduled, only 16% of the games are rematches from the regular season unless they were requested by another school. Kent for instance, they requested 2 schools that they had played previously in the regular season, and those are the only 2 schools they requested. So obviously we couldn't do much about that. But as far as scheduled games that weren't requested, only 16% of all the games will be replayed matches. Then I went ahead and did some statistics based on your ranking and your opponent's rankings, and everybody's games are within at least one standard deviation of ranking compatibility. There are 2 schools that are outside of that, but it's because of the games they requested. So I'm hoping by using this different format than we have in any other year, I think that you guys will be really happy with what we came up with.
Well, Nick's here now, so guess we can start talking about the schedule finally. Nick, do you have anything to say about this year's Nationals compared to years in the past, I guess?
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Me and technologies don't get along. Just give me a pencil and paper. I'm good. Now this year I was going for everyone's Nationals, not just Westerns, not just one or thing. I just wanted everybody. I wanted what the teams wanted, and I wanted the teams to have to worry about less. So this year we strive to do everything for everybody. We try to make it where they didn't have to worry about food, hotels. They didn't have to worry about it. We were like, okay, here's 2 hotels that are relatively cheap, some cheaper than the others. Here you go. And they're not in any sketchy parts of the neighborhood. They're right beside on a main road beside a bunch of restaurants, and everyone's within like a few miles of campus, and it's like a straight shot. On game day, we wanted everybody to have their stuff. We wanted everyone's stuff to be just right there where they can. Sorry.
Don't pay attention to the comments.
Well, I can't help it. I thought I was talking to myself, but no, I want everyone to just be relaxed and just enjoy Nationals. That's what Nationals is about. Everyone just competing with schools they never see. Like we have a hospitality room where that's where we're going to have fruit for everybody, where they can leave their stuff. If players want to just rest, they can. So you don't have to worry. I mean, you can worry about Felix messing with you, but I mean that's Felix. But we'll have someone in there watching the stuff at all times. We will have water supplied. I mean, which ain't a big deal, but.
Yeah. No. Nick, you're doing a great job. Keep it up. And really, like Nationals is always tough. You're doing a great job so far.
Thank you.
Let's get into the show.
Can I jump in real quick?
Sure.
First. What was that? All right. First, shout out to Nick for wearing a tie because we know this isn't something he normally does. Okay, can we get that figured out before we go any further?
I don't know who it is. You.
It's not me. I got headphones on.
Felix, it's you. How dare you?
I don't know what's going on. My computer's frozen. I'm going to close out.
All right,
Bye.
is it doing it now?
No, this is why we can't have nice things.
I can't even close out. Everything's frozen. All right, I'm just going to turn my computer off. I'll be back.
I'll mute you. All right, he's muted. Jacob is also muted. Can't
Right.
do anything.
Sean's MIA now. Oh, he's there.
I've been here.
All right, guys. Let's launch into the. I think everybody's looking for the new thing, so let's do it.
Oh my god.
Yes. We can actually do it. I'll stop saying do it. Okay. Here is our fancy PowerPoint. Ooh. Guys, don't make fun of me. Actually, if you want to make fun of Felix, he's the one who prepared this. So you make fun of him.
Yes. That was
Round
mine.
one.
Sorry about the remix earlier too.
Sounded like a Skrillex song.
Oh man, round
Who's
one.
Skrillex?
Let's go with the first one. Who do you think it will be? Who do you guys think it will be?
Oh, sorry, I was laughing at Nick not knowing who Skrillex was. What was the question?
Who's gonna call the first match? Just call it random matchup, no matter what. What do you think?
We already know this game.
Everybody
Yeah,
already
I
knows.
know.
Just entertain me.
Entertain.
I think Insula's going to play Miami.
Delta versus LCC.
Siena Heights versus Davenport.
Louisville versus everybody.
Rick Pitino in a
Alright.
grudge match against John Calipari.
All right. Well,
Hey, there we go.
Hey!
All right,
Penn State
Jake, what the
versus
hell
DePaul.
was that? Yeah, but now Felix is muted. Look.
Well, we don't care about Felix.
Felix is not shown in the broadcast.
You can stay muted.
All right, let's play. Let's just get this over with.
Nah, I think Felix is good.
Penn State versus DePaul. I'm gonna go through all these to start out with. UK versus VCU. Maryland versus Ohio State. A Big Ten matchup, if I'm correct.
That is correct.
Nah, it's
Grand Valley versus Wisconsin Platteville. This is actually a game that was scheduled in the regular season but didn't get a chance because of the massive blizzard in Chicago.
8 hour home.
All right, let's start off with Kevin. Why don't you, as host, present?
All right, I guess we can just go through each game. Start with Penn State against DePaul. Obviously, Penn State's a team that not many people have seen this year, so I'm excited to, I guess, to see what happens with that game. DePaul's one of the more talented teams compared to a team like Penn State or VCU that never gets to play anyone. So I figured DePaul's going to win that. What do you guys have to say about that game?
I have to agree. I think DePaul will win as well.
I agree DePaul will win, but when we
I don't know
played,
anything about Penn State. I've never honestly seen them play, so I think it could be potentially a good game.
when
I mean, DePaul's only played 6 games this season, so
Uh,
when we played Penn State 2 nationals ago, just watching their first game go against Kentucky and then just getting railed by Kentucky's throwers compared to their last game versus us, it was pretty incredible to see the transformation in 3 games. I remember back then they had a lot of athletic people, and Mike Van Erman and Sam Hiller did their best to try to teach them. So hopefully, in 2 years' times, they've grasped the ropes a little bit more, and then if at the very least compete, if not maybe go out and take a sneaky W.
yeah. All right, let's move on. Kentucky against VCU. VCU is another one of those teams from the East Coast that not many other teams have seen, and then Kentucky's, I guess, the middle of the pack team this year. I'd say Kentucky's going to win this one just based off having more experience. What do you guys have to say about it?
I'll say Kentucky should have it. I mean, it's practically like a home court to them. I mean, they're only like an hour away from here, so I mean, they're going to have their best roster. I don't know what VCU's bringing because I don't know how far a drive it is for them. So, and they're a really young team, so I'd say Kentucky will probably handle them.
All right, I'll jump in here. I didn't get a chance to say anything about the Penn State match, but seeing as this, like all these games all involve East Coast teams, and I've played all of them this year, VCU will come. The first thing I want to say is congrats to them for making their first nationals. They haven't
Definitely.
They've had some good leadership in the past, but they just haven't been able to get a full team together to be able to get out there. So I'm really happy to see they're able to make it. But playing against them, they have a couple guys who are really good. They have one guy, I don't know his first name. His last name is like Antaz. Pardon me if I mispronounce it. Used to play for JMU. He was on their starting 15 when he played. He's good. They have another guy, Eric Fisher, who plays in a bunch of leagues outside this, who is also a very talented player. But they play as a bunch of individuals, whereas I'm sure Kentucky has more team strategy. So Kentucky will definitely take it.
All right. Maryland, Ohio State. I think this is the most intriguing matchup of the first round. Maryland's considered number 2 team on the East Coast, and then Ohio State, of course, one of the best teams from the Ohio region. I think this will be a really good match. I'm going to say Ohio State wins. What do you guys have to say about this one?
I have to agree. I really like Ohio State. I think they're a good team. I think they just need they need structure. They kind of remind me of what we were last year. I just think they need to be more organized. They have the talent to make some upsets, and I think they're going to want to get revenge from last year. I mean, they had an early exit against the next team, so I think they'll take them. I think they'll beat them. I think it'll be a good game, but I think they'll beat them handily.
This is I have this as my highlight game of Saturday for me. I'm really interested to see how these two teams compete. I've never seen Maryland play. I've heard great things from the guys on the East Coast, but without ever seeing them, I'm really looking forward to watching Maryland go against a good Ohio State team that I saw when we went down there in November.
Yeah, Colin, I agree with you. This might be one of the best games of Saturday overall.
I don't know. The only time I've seen Maryland play was against Grand Valley last year, and I seen them play y'all twice, and it's not fair to judge a team playing Grand Valley.
Actually, I think Grand Valley and Maryland had a pretty good match when I watched a little bit of it.
Well,
I
I've seen
was
them on
very
day
impressed
2.
with Maryland keeping up with some of the plays that Grand Valley was making. Obviously, Grand Valley is an incredible team, and there's a reason they're ranked number 1 across every system that we have. But I was very, very impressed with Maryland, and I think they're a good team to have on the East Coast region and a good competition level for those teams.
I feel like whoever dictates the strategy. I know Ohio State sometimes if they don't have any structure, they're just a bunch of guys out there just throwing. So if Maryland has structure, I think they'll beat Ohio State. If they can keep structure, if Ohio State doesn't go out there with any game plans, I think Maryland will just pick them off.
That is one thing that I think plays in Maryland's advantage because all year we've tried to break them of the strategy that they stay with, and it's really, really hard to break them of that strategy. And like maybe for like a split minute or a minute and a half, you'll get them kind of like out of their game, but then they get right back into it, and then they're right back in every single point. But I also think stylistically wise, this is probably one of the better matchups of the weekend because if Ohio State's like they were last year when I played them, they have a lot of arms, not so much catching, but they have a little bit, and Maryland is a lot more catching, and they have Rohan that's all their best arm, and then a few like other complementary arms, but not too much.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. We'll talk about both those teams again. Last game is Grand Valley against Wisconsin-Platteville. Obviously, Grand Valley's number 1 team in the nation, and UWP's only played, I think, 2 games all year. So just based off that, I think Grand Valley will have an advantage.
Well, yeah, the 2 teams they played aren't even at nationals, so I mean, how can you really
Exactly.
how can you really hold any value to that? I hate to say it, but I don't.
I'll say this about UWP. We've played them the first round, the last 2 nationals, and they probably deserve to win both those games.
Oh yeah, they play hard. They come to play.
We made enough plays to eke out, I think, 2-1 wins in both those games, but they probably dominated 70% of the game. We just had that 30% to get 2 points.
Right.
Yeah, the thing about Wisconsin-Platteville, I've reffed a lot of their games. I've seen a lot of their stuff. Generally, they play pretty hard, but they still have that kind of Mississippi Illinois region that we call the Illinois region when there's only one team in the Illinois region now. But they play hard to start with. And I think all Illinois teams do that, but they play hard, and then they have pretty good talent on their team. If they take a team approach to playing, I think they could make some serious damage, or at very least take a point from Grand Valley if they get the swing of things. As far as Grand Valley goes, none of their matches are that close, and at least in the Gonzalez system. I mean, I talk about the Gonzalez system, but it tends to be Grand Valley's rating is so high that if they're not playing the next top three teams, the match doesn't count for much. That just shows how strong Grand Valley has been in the past years as well as this year. But any team that will take a point on Grand Valley is always going to be very fun to watch. So I look forward to it.
I don't.
UW, something to say about UWP also. Other than Towson University, UWP was the most requested game by other teams. So they are highly sought after also, which is a good thing. I'm just happy that everyone is eager to play them, because when I talked to their captain and told them that statistic also, he's really excited and had no idea why people want to play them, but he's happy that they do.
Well, now I'm wondering the same thing. Why do people want to play us so much? Like, what makes us so requested?
Just to win. That's why. Just saying.
I think, honestly, it's because it seems like only the outlier schools were requested more than 3 or 4 times. It was Towson University, Penn State, Wisconsin Platteville, all the teams that are kind of like further away from other teams. Maryland was also highly requested. I think it's just teams that don't get to play very many games. Everyone else wants to play them.
Or the teams that don't travel.
Yeah.
All right, you guys want to move on to round 2 then?
Definitely.
Yeah.
We're going a little bit slow.
Well, we got a little bit going. So round 2. This will follow about 1 hour and 15 minutes, hopefully. We're gonna have the refs crack down. You guys are not allowed to dilly-dally on balls over. It's not a timeout. That's what I always say. MU versus Kent. James Madison versus Bowling Green. Bowling Green won the Ohio Dodgeball Cup. James Madison is top in the East Coast region. Saginaw Valley versus WKU. Michigan State versus Towson.
Let's go.
That's round 2. Felix, what's the big showcase court for this? I think we're calling it the Italian Stallion Court.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't know that. Let me pull that up. Well, since it's our home court, Nick wanted the Saginaw and WKU game to be the highlighted court, and that's simply because of the strong tradition that we've had at Nationals against Saginaw. At Nationals, they've beaten us every time, but they've been close games, except for in 2013 when I think they destroyed us like 8-1. But other than that, all the other games at Nationals that we've played have always been 2-1 or 3-2. So I think that could be a highly contested game, especially since Saginaw hasn't played a lot this year. I don't really know what to expect out of that game. But if I had to personally choose, I would be excited for the Michigan State and Towson game, which is on our secondary highlighted court.
Yeah, I agree. Let's just go one game at a time, though. Let's start Central against Kent. Talk about each game individually. I'll start with Central against Kent State. I think Central will win that game, but it'll be pretty exciting. I remember they played at the Bowling Green invite, I think, Jake, and it was actually a pretty close game, but Central didn't play their best that time.
Yeah, it was a rough day. They didn't. I give them that though. We beat them. We beat the other 2 times we played them. We beat them handily. But yeah, they played really well. We weren't really firing on all cylinders, and they took advantage of it. But we were able to close it out, thankfully.
This is a game that Kent requested, and they said they wanted revenge. They played each other 4 times this season, but they requested this game, and they won Central Michigan. So.
All right, let them come.
Yeah. All right. Second game, JMU against Bowling Green. I think this is going to be a pretty interesting game. I think James Madison's far more talented, but Bowling Green just won the Ohio Dodgeball Cup, and they're playing their best dodgeball right now. So I think it'll be interesting to see how close they can keep that game, even if they don't win.
Yeah,
I'm just interested in how JMU comes out, because the Nationals past day one, they've always tried to just destroy everybody, and then day two, their arms are just gone. So are they going to try to play more conservative this year, or are they going to just try and destroy Bowling Green like 7-0?
This is another game that was requested. James Madison wanted Bowling Green. I think they were impressed by their performance at the Ohio Dodgeball Cup and the fact that these two schools have never played before. So I'm looking forward to this game as well.
Yeah, and going off what Nick said about James Madison having to like save their arms, they've got a couple other games that are pretty tough. So it'll be interesting to see. They're one of the teams with a tougher Saturday schedule, in my opinion. That teams are going to have to save their arms for Sunday as well. Anyone else have something to say about that game, JMU against Bowling Green?
Go for it.
I was just say, it's gonna be interesting for me. I won't be able to watch it, but just to hear what happens, because knowing JMU, the Saturday really isn't their main goal. I mean, maybe they want to get the 2 seed, but I don't know what their seeding goal is. I think their main thing is just to avoid Grand Valley. So it'll be interesting to see like how much they come out and whether they try to like slow the pace down to rest people or if they try to put teams away early.
Yeah, they're definitely pretty high as a seed. CMU and JMU are currently fighting over 2 and 3 in the global rankings. So they'll have a good chance at least on Sunday, in case unless all hell breaks loose. A good chance to stay away from Grand Valley for a little bit, at least in the tournament bracket.
Yeah. All right, Saginaw against Western Kentucky on the main court. Nick, let's start with you.
This is a game I've been excited for because when we played them in 2011, we played them day 1 and day 2. It was me and Felix, and they were just tremendous games. Like both games went last minute. It was just great, and we want revenge. Saginaw's the only Michigan school we haven't played this year, so we want to play them, and we're just intrigued on how this will go.
I wish I could watch this one just because I haven't had a chance to see like anything on Saginaw at all this year, and I kind of want to see what they're like this year because I've heard up and down things. Like some days they show up to tournaments and they could take out anybody, and then like other days they're just off their game. So I really want to see like what they bring.
I would say they've showed up every tournament. They just sometimes teams have made more plays and sometimes they haven't. I mean, even in the CMU showdown, they went. They didn't win a game, but it was close for a good deal for all of them. It's not like they just didn't show up.
Yeah, I think Saginaw's a good team, and I think they were missing a few of their players due to illness in timing. But I really do. I think like we were the 4th team last year. We weren't really that good. I still think the 4th team this year is still going to be a team that you have to be watch out for. I know I don't want to play them. Yeah. All right, cool.
Someone else something to say?
Okay. Anyone have any passing comments on this bracket?
Well, we didn't talk about MSU Towson all that much.
All right. Well, Colin, what do you think? Well, no, we have two of the captains.
Yeah, we got.
Let's start off with Colin.
Yeah.
So we've never played Towson, so I'm looking forward to it. Again, I want to play as many East Coast schools as possible. So both Towson and Maryland were our 2 requests that we wanted. Happy we got one of them. I hear things from Sean, but I've never seen him play. So here's Joe Tobin can throw hard, and they're right there versus Maryland. So hopefully we can take them down and I'm looking forward to seeing them.
Yeah, this was actually a mutually requested match between the both of you, so that's always good to see.
Yeah. So the reason we had requested this is because I looked through our team's history, and the teams that were in the league when we started, in the league. Michigan State and Bowling Green were the only two that we have never played before, so I really wanted to play Michigan State, especially knowing that we were likely to get a Michigan school, so I figured I'd request the one we've never had before. And yeah, Colin, we originally weren't going to have Joe, but I think we're flying him to Nashville the day of and then having him drive up. So we need him. But no, so when we play each other, from what I've been hearing, it's probably not going to be which of like our top 5 or 6 guys perform. It's like how our back end players perform that will probably decide who wins this match. If I gotta be honest, I want to say my team will win, but if I had to make a prediction, I'll go against every instinct I have and say Michigan State will win, just because. I don't know. Maybe I want my team to get pissed at me and prove me wrong.
I'll tell you this. You're lucky because Michigan State has a historic record in the first point of the day. I think in my 3 years, we've maybe won 5 points ever to start a day. In like every tournament. I remember we went to Bowling Green my freshman year, and they took the first point from us. We garnered a Paul, and maybe they took one. I don't know. It's been terrible.
I remember that. I remember all those points. I was like, why is that first point?
Yeah, we historically bad in the first point. So,
well, that might be an advantage.
Might get spotted one.
This might be an advantage, but it might not, because this year we're a little bit better about that. But we are also notoriously slow starters. So that first game might just be ugly.
Let's go on to round 3.
All right. Round 3. Ohio State versus DePaul. Wisconsin-Platteville versus Penn State. Oh, shit.
That's our lunch break. That's two games are going on. Everyone else is going to have the lunch with the pizzas that we're having delivered.
Oh, yeah, that is the lunch break. Sorry, I freaked out and I tried to pull the thing away.
That being said, there's only two games being played in round 2, or round 3 and round 4, but there's not an hour and 15-minute break in between the start of those games. There's only 45 minutes.
It's a lunch break for the refs mainly.
And that's when we'll have the pizzas for everybody. They'll be delivered, and everybody can eat.
Okay.
So who thinks Ohio State or DePaul?
Oh God, this is gonna be a long day.
I haven't seen DePaul play this year. Now I'm going to go ahead and go on record. I didn't get to say anything during Ohio State's first game prediction, but I'm going to say right here and now, I think if OSU can get it together and work as a team, they have enough raw talent where they will make it to the finals this year. I have full faith in that. Whether they win or not, I don't know, but I am predicting that OSU makes it to at least the finals this year.
What?
Yep.
Upsetting Grand Valley, right?
I don't care. Someone.
That was not CMU, man. We on fire.
CMU is on fire. If you take a look at the Gonzalez system, which is historical, it takes in the rating rolls over from season to season. CMU has boosted their rating about 10 points, which is really, it's like 10 points. Within like 10 games, they boosted that too. So it's very easy in that system to go from middle of the road to second seed in that, and that's pretty much kind of where they are. So congratulations on that.
Yes.
What do you guys think of this? Any passing comments on this round? It's pretty.
I'm excited for the UWP Penn State game. Like I said, I've never seen any of them play, so at lunch it'll be good thing to watch. Like I said, no one's really seen them play. I've seen Penn State. It'll be fun. It'll be good.
It is a brand new match. It's never been played in the NCDA, as opposed to OSU DePaul, which has been played many times in nationals. Actually, one of my first nationals, not the first one, was Grand Valley. We played OSU And there's a sort of thing about OSU is they don't there's like some of the team play. It was addressed in the OSU history article how they don't function as a team as much as a lot of other players do in critical moments. And as DePaul, we kind of felt that. And I remember being very like, oh man, I'm almost gonna win, and then we ended up losing, and then the match devolved into something that was very, very entertaining for the fans. I'm excited to see that. I'll probably be floating around during the event, making sure the refs and, most importantly, the shot clocks are on time this year. So I'm excited for that.
Cool. All right, round 4.
Well, before we do that, let's look at a couple of the questions that we have going on. Josh Raymer, who posted like 8 questions, wants to know, Felix, are you operating in some kind of storeroom? The people need to know.
I'm in my office right now. I'm at work currently.
He works like the first shift, so like he's been doing a lot of stuff in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Which is where we get most of our work done.
So yeah, I'm at work right now, which is why I have boxes and a sign that says "Do work, son" on the board.
Teamwork, make the dream work.
Yep.
Michael Grogrove asked, gotta say, this is one real sophisticated sorting method. I think he was talking about sorting our, what's it called? Probably our stuff, like our rating system. So right now there's 4 rating systems that make up the NCDA algorithm, ranking algorithm, which is, it pulls in a lot of different stuff, and there's going to be a lot of things posted on that in the next couple days that you guys can all chew on. But it's pretty much the same way how we did rankings last year, and especially the seeding for the Sunday tournament. Essentially, national matches are worth about double. It kind of depends on the system, but they're worth about double. Regular season matches are worth a lot. If you win, you're going to do good. Your seed's going to be high. Your ranking's going to be good. That's as much as time as we have to go in for that. One more question is actually a clarification from a couple of the JMU guys that are like freaking out. I'm pretty sure BG and JMU played last year at Nationals. I think that's correct. Felix, what do you think? I can't remember. I think it's Saturday. There was Saturday play.
No, it would have to be the Sunday play because Maryland played Bowling Green in their pool last year.
Yeah, it might have been the first game because WKU played Central Michigan. We were supposed to play in Miami, but that game didn't happen, and we played James Madison. So it might have been James Madison's first game because we played them in the second round after we beat OSU.
Okay. All right.
In the shot clock game.
Yeah, in the shot clock game, yes.
There's some things we don't ever say. All right, let's move on to the next round. Round 4. WKU versus VCU.
Powerhouses.
Grand Valley versus Kent. Oh.
Point 2, Zig.
Damn it. Backspace? And we'll do it. Yes. PowerPoint. Okay, so this is the other half of our lunch break. We have staggered lunch breaks for the refs. This is actually 45 minutes from round 3, so it's not that far.
Yeah.
What do you think about Western Kentucky versus VCU?
This is a question game from VCU, so this is the number 16 seed versus the number 15 seed, so this will be a statistically even match.
The loser plays Grand Valley.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no, I just realized that.
What, the WKU is the easiest schedule?
Yeah.
Just
Hey,
noticed that?
Hey, we've played everybody this year. Can we?
Here's the thing.
They traveled up to Michigan twice.
Here's the thing. WKU does statistically have an easier schedule, but in the compared to their schedule, they're evenly matched. Compared to their power and ranking, they're evenly matched. Yeah, so it all works out. Anyways, continue. What do you guys think?
Kevin, assuming you guys get VCU in the first round, go easy on them. I like those guys.
Hey, we're just happy that they actually committed to come to nationals.
Yes.
Please don't not come.
No, they are definitely coming. I've talked to them, and they are set to come, and I'm really happy to hear it.
I'm excited to see everybody. I mean, the Bowling Green guys at Ohio State last year were very, very cool to talk to. I waited with them when they were after they're done, and we got on their shirts. They were pretty cool guys, and they were just like willing to play whoever they wanted to play, just play dodgeball. So. I love talking to the teams that are not like Grand Valley and stuff. No offense, but I love talking to everybody. That's the thing. It's nice to see college age kids competing in dodgeball against other college age kids. So.
And then Wes.
Yeah.
I'd say that I'm looking forward to WKU against VCU. Just because it'll be a good opportunity for both those teams. WKU has kind of struggled record-wise this year, so it'll be a good game for them maybe to get a win. And then
We
VCU,
have more than 10 people.
Pretty easy match for VCU compared to maybe playing JMU or like Maryland, someone like that. No offense to WKU.
Hey, we've only had 2 games with a full roster, so we're okay.
That's true.
I will say this, when you guys get to play VCU, their one guy I mentioned earlier, Eric Fisher, has one of the most interesting but one of the most effective throws I've ever seen in my life. His wind-up and release just baffles me, but it's really good.
All right, well, let's move on to round 5.
Cool.
That's interesting. I think it's interesting. Round 5. Towson versus Bowling Green.
Ooh.
It's a new match. James Madison versus Saginaw. Last time they met was at the CMU Showdown.
Like last week.
Yeah. Central Michigan versus Maryland. I believe this is also a match. Not.
It's a requested match. We've never played one yet.
That is the highlight match.
MSU versus Kent. Another requested match by Kent. I know.
Yeah.
There it is. Round 5. What do you guys think?
Round 5 is like 4 of the better games, I think, all in one round. I want to see each one of these games.
It is a heavy match. Like, it's going to be a slight issue for officiating. Because these are all kind of close-ish. Not close, but like we want to make sure we have the best officials available for this match.
Yeah. All right. Let's just go down the line. Let's start with Towson against Bowling Green.
I'm looking forward to this game, man. I think it's gonna be good. I mean, I won't get to watch it, unfortunately, but hopefully I get to see the tape of it. It sounds fun. I mean, if the court's nearby, I could probably peek over and check for a little bit. But yeah, I think it'll be a good game. I really do. I hope to see Towson. They want to prove that they're a good team. I think this is a team they need to beat handily.
True.
Yeah, I'm really happy we have these guys, and I'm even happier that we have them when we have them, because I've heard it, like, last year they started to show some improvement, but, you know, like, years past, they weren't, like, the greatest or the most organized team around, and I've been looking forward to the fact that we get to play them, you know, when they're really making some solid improvements and when they do something like win ODC, so it's a good baseline match for both teams. I think it'll be fun.
Quick question, Zigmas. Which one of these is the main court game?
CMU Maryland.
All right.
All right. What I'd like to see.
On
I'm
the
commentating that one, so
Italian Stallion Court.
Yep, the Italian Stallion Court will have CMU Maryland, and then our second main court will have JMU Saginaw.
okay.
Game.
And then then the other two courts are right beside each other, so everyone can actually see any game they won. So
That's your point.
yeah,
Let's talk about JMU against Saginaw now.
I mean, they just played at the showdown. Saginaw took the first point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then JMU rebounded and took the next two, but it'll be interesting to see. They're two of the top teams in the league, and Saginaw's getting another crack at them.
I think Saginaw has a real chance if they're bringing in a real roster. I mean, nothing against Jamie. I think they're a great team. They gave it up a point to Kent. Kent took the first point on them, which I was told. And Ohio State had a pretty close game with them too. I really think if SVSU comes out hard and quick, I think that they have a real shot. But I think JMU is the better team in my opinion. But I think it's gonna be a great game.
I agree with you, Jake. Saginaw comes out fast, the first point of every tournament. And I mean, if they get the momentum, then they can win any game. But I agree. I think JMU is more talented. They'll probably end up winning 2-1, 3-1, something like that. Let's talk about Central against Maryland. This one's going to be a really good game, too. What do you guys have to say about it?
So
okay, I'll go ahead. I mean, obviously, I think we're going to win. But, yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. I mean, people have been wanting to see this matchup for a while. So I hope we don't disappoint or vice versa. So I hope it is a good game. I think we'll be all right, but yeah.
all I know is I feel like one of these points could maybe have like 2 full cycles of people with the amount of catching in this game. You know, where it could be like 20 catches worth 25 catches of just going back and forth.
If that's so, I mean, it's going to be an exciting game then. I'm going to play that with you too. So
Yeah, there is going to be, at least if it goes as expected, there's going to be an insane amount of catching in this game. Maryland, the big thing about them is like they catch, but they also catch in clutch moments. So I only know as much as Jake tells me about CMU. So since I'm riding the bus with Maryland, I won't make any predictions either way. But no, I think both John and I are really kind of bummed that we're playing during this block, so we don't get to watch any of these games. This one in particular.
Yeah. I'd say that Central and Maryland, I guess Maryland more from what I've heard than what I've seen, but those are 2 of the better teams just being organized and playing as a team. So, and at the same time with controlling the pace of the game. So it's really going to be interesting to see which team can kind of control the pace of the game, because whoever does that is probably going to end up winning the game. I think Central's still going to win, but both teams are really organized, and I think that's why this game's really intriguing.
Lots of teamwork on both sides here.
Absolutely.
The main point to take away.
I know.
What do you think about MSU versus Kent? Very historical match.
I think State's going to get shut out.
Dang.
Just want to see Colin's reaction real quick. I don't know. I mean, Kent requested them, so they want to beat them. I mean, I don't know if they have apparent revenge like they do on us. I don't know where that came from, but if they want to beat State really bad, I mean, I think they're a good team. Honestly, I think Kent's one of the hardest teams to predict because they travel so bad. I've never seen the same players at a tournament for them. So if they bring a good team, I really think it'd be good. But I think State's a pretty good team, so I think they'll be fine.
There only 2 ever, from what my knowledge, there are only 2 ever wins against us for last year. So
yeah,
hopefully it stays at 2.
Cool.
All right. Any passing comments on this one? Towson versus Bowling Green. That's obviously a new match. Central versus UMD. I think it has not been a lot. Certainly.
It's never happened.
Never happened.
I don't think so.
Yeah. MSU is the 4th team to join the league. Actually, not to join the league. They were a founding member of the league. Kent State being the second team, MSU being the fourth team to start up a team. Those are two historical matchups. And actually, a lot of the Michigan State invite tends to be like DePaul, Kent, OSU, MSU, which tends to be the four founding teams that still exist in the NCDA. I'm going to give a shout out to Delta.
R.I.P.
Doesn't exist anymore. But it's always fun to see those sort of matches because we can see how dodgeball has evolved over the 11 years. This is going to be the 11th Nationals, which is insane. You guys are still young. I'm slightly old.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on before I get nostalgic.
Real quick, fast point. I think the JMU Saginaw game every year is always extra fun because whoever runs Saginaw's Twitter handle, at least in years past, has had a habit of talking a lot of smack. Not necessarily directly at JMU, but if you read into it, you know they're talking about JMU.
That might be Jordan.
No.
I don't know. I'm not good at names.
I don't know who does it, but whoever does, knowing how JMU likes to shut people up, they love every opportunity to shut Saginaw up. Yo!
Got a little heated the showdown too that game. So
John Shaw.
So Shaw makes an appearance.
Yo, what's good, boys?
Hey, he dips. Joe, you got a tip in right now?
I can't see him because he's in camo.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Shaw doesn't dip either. Wait,
What are you talking about?
do you dip?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah!
My roommate, he knows jack shit.
I know you smoke. That's as far as I know.
Oh boy, here we
We're
go.
moving on to round 6. Grand Valley versus Penn State. Another unique matchup. James Madison versus Ohio State. Wisconsin Platteville versus Bowling Green State University. Western Kentucky versus DePaul. Not a unique match in nationals. Actually, it's been almost every time, almost. Anyways, what do you guys think of Grand Valley versus Penn State?
It'll be a learning experience.
Yeah. No, it's a good way to put it. It really will be.
Yeah. I hope that Penn State takes it that way, and I love when new teams come out and they actually learn from their competitors, much like James Madison did their first year. I would love to see Penn State become a powerhouse, not only just because I enjoy those guys, but also because they would be a good school to market with the league, saying that, hey, Penn State's in our league. They're far enough out east and to the north where they could be a good school to kind of breed new competition. So I hope they take from this experience and learn from it. That being said, I think Grand Valley will obviously win.
I think this is kind of like the one downfall to the East Coast for the first time ever, bringing more than 3 teams, because it's not like, we really want to play each other because we've already played each other. So they get put in matchups like this against a team like Grand Valley because Grand Valley's never played them. So I mean, it'll be good to learn, but yeah, I hope no one on that team takes anything that happens in a negative manner.
No, I mean, you have to go with when the match is decided, you have fun.
Yep.
That's a core DePaul value. That's actually a pretty core outlier team value, and I know WKU also follows this as well.
We always do that, Zig.
Yeah. Nobody has fun here.
What's fun?
Some of it presentable.
For what it's worth, Penn State is one of the more fun teams that we consistently play on the East Coast. But granted, we also play JMU and Maryland all the time, so it gets heated.
Yeah, that's real fun.
All right, let's talk about JMU against Ohio State then.
This was a requested game by James Madison. They really wanted a chance at Ohio State. I think these two teams have matched up at some point in the past, but I can't remember exactly when.
They just matched up at the UK invite not too long ago.
Okay.
Game 3-1.
Okay.
It was a good game to watch, even though I was supposed to be playing against Bowling Green State. I caught myself watching that game, and then I'd usually get out, but I thought it was worth it. It just two of the strongest armed teams in the league just plastering each other. I mean, it's just. I guess it just depends on the mindset the mindset of who wants to save their arm for day two. Is Ohio State just going to try and upset, and then Jamie just let it happen?
I think knowing the full schedule ahead of time, once everyone knows where all the games are at, I think of the top 4 seeds, I think JMU has the toughest schedule. So hopefully that doesn't affect them adversely and gives them like good momentum going into Sunday.
I know Felix thinks that OSU is going to go to the championship. I think that's a little steep, but I do think that OSU has the talent to go 3-0 on Saturday, but it's just like the organization. I really do. Same with SVSU. So, yeah.
All right, UWP against Bowling Green. I think this will be a close game. I bet you Bowling Green wins it, though. High on Bowling Green after they won the Ohio Dodgeball Cup.
Is it Wagner? Is Wagner sleepy? No, Wagner's good. He left?
Yeah. And I've not all the rosters are in, and we're almost at the deadline, which worries me. But anyways,
Ours will be in tonight.
it's fine. It's fine. We need to order shirts. That's why we need to do it.
Leski.
Oh my God, let's go.
Anyways, as far as Wisconsin-Platteville has 20 people on the roster, always good. They're traveling very far away from Western Kentucky. Bowling Green, a little bit more close to Kentucky. They just sent their roster in a little bit while ago, and they also have about 20 people. So it's interesting. I mean, I just like seeing people have a full roster, and it's tough when you have 20 people and you have to fill that 20 people. I know our minimum roster size according to the rule book is 10 people, which is very, very hard to fill on its own when you're just starting out as a team. But in order to see those two teams that have not competed a lot this season, Bowling Green exceeded exceptionally well in the Ohio Dodgeball Cup. Wisconsin-Platteville should have traveled more this year, but was able to get at least 2 matches in. They traveled all the way down to Nebraska. That is a hefty trip in their own. So it's always exciting to see those teams compete against each other, and at the same time, we just need to keep up our recruiting efforts from a league standpoint. Definitely, because it's always hard to get. If we have more dense population within our regions, then it'll be better for everybody. Especially, certain teams that can't travel. Like Maryland has a one rule exception, so they can travel away from their 100 to 200 mile radius or whatever it is for nationals, but they can't travel anywhere else, which sucks. So that's just my point.
Quick point, Nick, is JMU versus OSU going to be on the Italian Stallion court?
Hopefully.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so I'm guessing UWP Bowling Green will be on the number 2 court.
Nope. WKU DePaul. I mean, that's an epic matchup right there.
All right, fair enough.
It's mainly on the second main court because of the home court advantage, and we'll have fans there, so we'll have to have a spot for them to sit and watch the game. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but
So what is the main game? The main game is Jamie versus OSU. Is that right?
Yes.
All right, good.
WKU's got to be there. They got to pull an Atlanta Falcons and just pump in crowd noise.
So going back to UWP Bowling Green, I personally am really interested in this because within the content group, I've probably been the most outspoken to general levels of confusion because I'm not a numbers guy as to how certain rankings were. UWP being one of those, and Bowling Green being one, and like kind of curious how low, why they were so low. So not throwing any personal opinions out there, but I agree with Kevin that Bowling Green will pull off the upset based on their rankings, but maybe outside of the rankings, I don't think it's an upset.
Yeah, no. To touch on that, any upset in this entire Saturday and this whole schedule, any upset is upsets are likely. But the matches at Nationals, there's never been one match at Nationals that's not been upset, and that's generally how that shows how important the event is in the league. So the matches played at Nationals are worth about double, to reiterate something I said before in the podcast. So it's worth a little bit double. BJ beating Wisconsin Platteville will get some points to that. So it'll be very interesting to see how everything plays out. Definitely, because upsets are exciting. That's the main point. Something that's and every game that you see on this list, the left team is the stronger team as according to the Gonzalez system. Obviously, we have 4 other systems that are in play, or 3 other systems that are in play. But when you see these, the rightmost team is the lower ranked team. Leftmost is the intense team.
It's good.
Any passing comments on this round before we finish off our last round?
WKU going undefeated. We go 7-0. Felix gets a tattoo.
I really hope Felix gets this tattoo.
Yeah. Me too.
McCarthy's pool tattoo, in parts unmentionable.
I could say this earlier. WKU, we have never won a first point this whole season. We played 20 matches and not won a first point. I think we've been outscored this season 5-77. I think we did the math. So we're just gonna win 1-0 every match, overtime. That's our plan.
That might, going back a few rounds, that actually might sound how the CMU Maryland game might end up because of how much catching there are at like every point. It takes like 20 minutes.
I highly doubt that, but all right.
All right, what do you guys say about we go to the 7th round?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let me broadcast because that's how it's gonna go. Central versus VCU, a unique match. Saginaw versus Towson, also a unique match. I don't think it's ever been played.
No, we played them last year in pool play.
Played them last year. If anything, the matches that you Nationals functions as a pool play system, so you get played there. If anything, Michigan State versus Kentucky.
Final 4, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that'd be interesting. And then Maryland versus Kent. So let's start off with CMU versus VCU.
I think VCU is going to win this.
Nailed it.
I'll pull it together.
Eric Fisher headshot on Jake Leski.
Central's going to have all their throwers tired by then. VCU is going to win the game 1-0.
Who says my throws are flying? All right.
I hope it's a similar game like the Penn State and Grand Valley. I hope VCU learns from this. I really do. I want them to stick around the league, and I don't want anybody's first day of nationals to be devastating because I remember Miami used to have that problem when like Central Michigan beat Miami 17-0 in 2010 at nationals. That was terrible, and I don't think that would ever happen again. I think we are now more about having fun to a certain extent.
I think kind of speaking on GPU's behalf, I think they'll really just enjoy the fact that they're able to be there.
Yeah.
So, like I've talked to their captain a bunch, and he's a really nice guy, and he's just so utterly stoked that he's able to bring his team So I think no matter what happens, VCU will look at this trip as a success, solely for the reason that they've been able to come and enjoy the whole event of nationals.
Sean, question.
Okay.
Is Shadid Drakeford being able to make the trip?
You know, I don't know because more than likely because
He'll be there.
Shadid just has this knack of just showing up anywhere.
Weirdest places, most random times.
Yeah, like
no,
we have
notice.
we have no idea he's showing up somewhere, and then like out of nowhere, just hey, oh hey Shadid.
He travels and he loves it.
That's
so
interesting
I think-
because you know I've talked with him occasionally, and he's been in contact with the league in general about coming to nationals. And no, he's no longer a student right now, but it's good to see his team that he helped found able to come. And you know, we take a look at Miami or Louisville that happened to fall off because they didn't have a leader, and I think it's good that VCU was able to have somebody that steps up and takes the next reins and continues the generation on.
Yeah. I'm excited for VCU to get games that are not against Towson, Maryland, or James Madison. I want to see how they react to different types of playing style that they haven't seen before.
I also second that because I think they're still in the stages of learning a playing style, like a solid one. So I think seeing a lot of variety will really help them out.
Okay, so what do you guys think about Saginaw versus Towson?
Should I start this one?
Yeah, go for it.
Start this one.
All right. So last year when we played Saginaw, they were the toughest test that we had going in. No offense to Ohio State, they were also a really tough game. But Saginaw just kind of had like that name recognition factor. But playing against them was a lot of fun, and we had agreed to play a different style because both teams were pretty tired. But it was fun. It was a hard-fought match, and for the first time in real life, I got to see Saginaw's throw one ball, and then like everyone just immediately knows to fall back to the baseline. So
strange.
it was just unreal to watch. But it's kind of strange how 2 years in a row we're matched up against them at the end of the day. So both teams will probably be just as tired as we were last year. So it should make for another interesting match. I think, if I'm being honest again, Saginaw will win. But I think it'll be, surprising to say, an enjoyable match.
Saginaw requested this game. They said they wanted to play you guys. I guess they enjoyed you guys last year, their game last year. So
we hung out with them for like 2 hours before our match, just messing around. So I guess so.
Upset alert.
Okay, so Michigan versus Kentucky, which is
What was
actually
that, Zach?
Michigan State versus Kentucky.
oh, sorry, I am not from Michigan. Anyways, Michigan State versus Kentucky. It's actually, that's why I say the acronyms. You guys don't know my fanatical thing about having. This is why I define these, because of that very reason. I call them different stuff. MSU versus UK.
There you go.
This is actually a dodgeball version of the Final Four, because you guys are in it along with Duke and, help me out here,
Wisconsin.
That's very interesting, and this almost always happens in some way at nationals, and I think Sam Hiller was talking a long time ago. One of his first nationals, Michigan State was playing like Saturday night, and they had to they wanted to cancel their match because they wanted to go watch Michigan basketball play in the Final Four. So this is why we have nationals after that, essentially.
All right. Well, we played them twice this year. The first time they had 10 people. The second time we had 10 people. So it'll be nice if we both have 15 on 15 for this one. The second time, the first one we won when we had 15. The second time, we were down to I think 3 people, and Andy Lieblich and Cameron Caldwell must have caught like 5 catches in like 7 seconds or something, and it just flipped. And we took the take a point to go 2-1, and then we killed the rest of the game. But it was probably the craziest 10 seconds of dodgeball I've seen in a long time.
I can say this is on the Italian Stalin court.
Let's go.
So that this will be the main match of that time, and then Maryland and Kent will be on the second main court, and then the other 2 will just filter out wherever we feels best.
All right. Any passing comments on Michigan State versus Kentucky? No.
I think it's all about who's tired. I think both schools kind of like to slow it down and rely on catching a lot. I guess it's just whose power guys are still good enough to keep that throw up, or who cannot. I think that's just going to be the exhaustion factor. I think that's what's going to really rely on this game.
How many catches does Drew Greenewald catch?
Actually, he only caught 2 against us the other day. We just don't throw at him.
Yeah, we don't either. Jumped in front of one of my throws once. I was aiming at someone else, and he like half dove and caught it, and I was like, I'm impressed.
Isoavo Calipari.
Yeah.
What about Maryland versus Kent? Passing comments. Running out of time.
I think Maryland wanted to play Ohio State a little bit more, but this will be a fun rematch to watch because the first match was a good one at JMU.
Shout out to Dylan Allred.
Yeah, Kent travels well to the East Coast. When you guys first had your inducting matches, Kent was the team that inducted you guys in as well. So.
Well, Maryland inducted us in.
Yeah, well, no, of course. But the whole...
I remember that 13-0 debacle every day.
Was it really that bad?
It was 13-0.
Oh, speaking of people calling stuff, Wes Peters, I'm going to put it on the question, currently answering. UMD versus Central. Wes Peters says 14-0. In favor of Maryland.
God damn it, Wes.
But Dylan Allred says UMD 1-0, which would be a horrible game. OT. He says OT, which would be a horrible game to ref. I hope that never happens in the league, but it has.
Yep.
That'd be a
Kent State versus Towson at the Beast in 2013 was 1-0 at the end.
It was an awful game.
We don't talk about it.
Let me clear out the rest of the questions. Wes Peters says GVSU question mark. You guys got to be more a little bit more descriptive in your questions, so I'm just gonna say done on that. Grand Valley is favored for the entire tournament. That's just from my statistical standpoint. But I'd love to see upsets. That's what makes things interesting. You know.
WKU finals. That's all I got to say.
We're gonna get to that soon. We'll get to it. Wes Peters, another follow-up question. Dude, upset alert. UMD is gonna crush us.
Wait, what is it? He's in the final.
And I think he said, I think we had another question that was 14-0 for Maryland. So I'm excited to see that happen.
Yeah.
If it does. The last one.
Fuck you, Leski.
Dylan and Wes are fighting each other in the questions.
Last year they were also calling each other father and son, so let's just move away from that.
Daddy issues.
If you guys want to take a trip back in time, view the All-Star Selection podcast from last year. of which Dylan and Wes were captains, so they chose teams. But they were on the same time. Anyways, let's move on to the final opponents, the final schedule. This is the final schedule that's appearing on my screen. Bailey, you want to take it off?
Yeah, sure. Well, after this, we're just going to talk about predictions and all that, but just talking about each specific team's schedule, what do you guys think are the toughest schedules? Like, which team has the toughest schedule or easiest schedule?
Western has the toughest.
I think it definitely has the toughest, but it's by their own doing. They requested both Michigan State and Central Michigan.
Yeah.
So I think they wanted a tough schedule, but they definitely earned it. It's going to be a rough road for them, but I'm not throwing them out just yet.
Yeah.
Did UMD request them? Is that how they got Maryland?
No, UMD, it just worked out that way with everyone else's schedules.
They have 3 top 5 teams. I just find that sucks.
Yeah, it does, but that's just how it ended up working out.
Yeah.
I tried to mix it all around, but then it became I think it ended up having JMU, JMU and GVSU playing Penn State. I think what it ended up with, and I didn't want that to happen.
Yeah, I would say JMU is a pretty tough schedule as well. Them and Towson, both tough schedules.
Towson's got a tough one. Also, Kentucky has 2 tough ones at least.
Yeah, Kentucky, they got a break with VCU, but yeah, they got 2 Michigan.
I'd say of accounting for everything, since Kent asked for those games, Kent has the toughest schedule. But if you're just looking at this, not knowing who requested who, then I'd say the top 3 toughest are probably Towson's, definitely Kentucky's, and then a tie between JMU and Maryland maybe. Although no, I'd probably lean more JMU.
I think the most even matchup overall would be Bowling Green. I think all of their games would be excellent ones, and I'm really looking forward to their schedule. I think they'll be all really close games.
What about easiest schedules or a team that might not get to use all their arms on day one?
Grand Valley.
Yeah, I agree.
I also don't think that CMU, I don't think their schedule's that tough. I think they'll have to try a little bit, but it's not going to be play their hardest for more than maybe 1 or 2 points a game.
I mean, the good thing about this is because we try to make it, even strength. It's not like anyone has a cake schedule. They're going to be playing a little bit no matter what.
Yeah. I'm kind of looking at this. I think all of Maryland's matches, because right now I think their roster is a little bit in flux, and we're trying to help them out with that. I think all their matches have the potential to go into overtime.
That sounds horrible.
So, Sean, as in overtime, do you think they would win the overtime or they lose the overtime?
Against Central, they'd probably lose. Kent, I think they would beat, and then Ohio State, in my mind, is a toss-up.
So if they lose the overtime, they would get more points than normal, essentially, unless they won, of course. But if they win in overtime, they get a lot of points. No, they get less points. Sorry, they get less points.
Also, Jake, I said potential. I never said it would happen.
Okay.
You got to be careful.
I actually have Towson 0-3 on Saturday, so we're even.
Really? Because that doesn't shock me at all with how you've been talking tonight.
You have to be careful with CMU. They constantly have a chip on their shoulder.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's okay. No, it's a good thing. But whatever. Everyone always says. Everyone on the team is like, "Oh no, you said 2 months ago that I was gonna lose this match, and now I won."
Yeah, West tweeted for a day about Western Kentucky's podcast. Oh, overrated, huh? Oh, not a top team, huh?
See, I love how this happens. Yet throughout like the content team, no one else has seen this. I've probably been Central's biggest supporter all year, other than Jake.
And Hunter Dickinson, baby. Hunter Dickinson with WKU.
All right, let's move on to our predictions, I guess. Final four. Colin, let's start with you. What's your final four?
All right, so hold on. I thought about it. With the way I see the bracket going down, I think it's going to be GVSU, MSU, JMU, and CMU.
All right, what's your finals then?
We will get our first ever win over Grand Valley in the semifinal. We're inching our way there. We got to overtime last time.
I'll cut you off right there.
We'll get you there. We'll win the first one, and then the Chippewas will beat JMU.
Woo!
And then we'll take the crown.
Oh.
Avenge our losses and go number one.
I respect that. Felix, you got anything?
Yeah, I think that it'll be Central Michigan, Grand Valley, JMU, and OSU. I think it'll end up being OSU versus JMU in the semifinal with OSU taking it, and then Central Michigan beating Grand Valley in overtime.
Bailey is so.
Wait. OSU was in the final.
Bailey is so.
And then it'll be OSU versus CMU in the finals, and I don't know who it'll be. If I had to take one,
Don't pick Central.
I'll say OSU.
What? Come on!
You're staying in Columbus too much. Get
All
out
right,
of
Jake,
there.
your turn.
My turn?
Yeah.
I really think that I will give Collins. I think State has a chance against Grand Valley. I know we're all going to pick the same Final Fours, so I'm going to go. GVSU, Saginaw Valley, CMU, and JMU, and I think Saginaw will meet Grand Valley in the semifinals, and then I think it'll be a Grand Valley CMU showdown. Just trying to mix it up, boys.
Interesting.
I'm not too confident on it, just mixing it up.
Zigmas?
Let me get my number
Oh,
book.
man.
Uh,
So, you know I love the Gonzalez system for many different reasons.
Absolutely.
I've seen teams fall and rise this year. And Nick says blank numbers. I'm going to leave you up to the blank. You can put your own expletive in. Gosh, I mean, Grand Valley, in terms of many different rankings, top seed regardless. And I tend not to exaggerate that much, but if in terms of the Gonzalez system, they're like 60 points to the nearest 65 points. If they played CMU,
What are you talking about, bro?
no, nobody knows what I'm talking about. If they played CMU, it would not count for as much as it would count for like maybe 0.4. It certainly wouldn't be a lot. It goes to show how strong they are, and if I had a favorite for them, it would be Grand Valley, and I learned that lesson from my horrible March Madness predictions, in which I picked Kansas State and they lost pretty bad.
Well, March
And
Madness.
I'm going to go with the system. I'm going to go with the system and say Grand Valley wins it. CMU and JMU and I don't want to do my fourth. You guys don't want. Yeah, I don't want to do my fourth. It'll probably be UMD. Maryland will probably be close fourth.
all right.
In my mind, it's a toss-up between Michigan State and UMD. But that's just me not doing it. That's my eye test. You guys and your eye test. That's my eye test.
Shout out to the eye test. Yes.
All right, Nick, let's hear your final four.
My Final Four will be Grand Valley, Michigan State, Western, and JMU.
Unbelievable, dude. I think you do this every time.
I have Western upsetting CMU in the first round.
Tragic. Tragic upset.
Yeah,
Then I can say explicit your numbers, Ziggy.
It's all right. You guys gotta prove me wrong.
We will. I mean, we finally have a full roster.
what,
No,
14?
yeah, undefeated with a full roster. Western Kentucky.
Then I have
Points for that in the Gonzalez system. I was just gonna say.
woo, go Gonzalez. I will have us and Grand Valley in the finals, and then we're gonna win it all just so Felix gets that tattoo. That's our motivation. Our motivation at the MSU invite was if we win it all, we'll go to the Comic-Con in San Diego.
All right, Sean, let's hear it.
All right, real quick, I'm gonna let John chime in with his 4 with
Oh, good.
just the 4. Go ahead.
Thanks, buddy. All right. Oh, okay, I'm good. All right, so I have Grand Valley, Central Michigan, James Madison, and then University of Maryland in my Final 4. I've got Grand Valley facing Maryland, the 1 versus the 4, and I've got Grand Valley winning that one. And then I've got Central versus JMU. And in overtime, I've got Central winning that one. And then I've got Central Michigan losing to Grand Valley. Oh, Leski, sorry, man.
It's all right, brother.
Did anyone notice once he gets some camera time, he decides to flex his biceps?
Yeah.
That had nothing to do with it.
Trying to impress Zigmas, you know.
All right, so here's my 4. I've got Grand Valley, Central, JMU. Those, in my mind, were pretty simple picks. As much as I want to see Maryland play Central, I think if Maryland and Michigan State get matched up at the 4 and 5, I think that will also be a really good matchup, maybe even a better matchup than Maryland versus Central. So in my mind, that's a toss-up, but I just have to go with the team. Sorry, Dylan. Sorry, Rohan. That has a little bit more nationals experience, and I have to go with Michigan State. In my mind, it's still a toss-up, though. You could flip a coin in my mind, and it might go either way.
They always find a way to get to the Final 4.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I'm picking them. So I picked Michigan State to get to the Final 4, and I'll be honest, I want to see a championship go away from Michigan, so I'm going to see Grand Valley and JMU in the final, and I've got JMU winning it.
Why not?
JMU is a very strong team in many of the systems, so.
All right. I haven't done mine yet, so mine's Grand Valley and Michigan State on one side, and then Central against JMU on the other side. And my finals would be Grand Valley over Central Michigan, 5-0. 3-0 Grand Valley over Central, guarantee.
Wow.
Hold on. Can we get a similar face tattoo? Can we get a similar face tattoo bet on this?
That'll be in my hands in a few weeks, buddy. Don't worry.
I hope not. All right. So what do you guys say for like a sleeper team, something like that? We'll talk about that next. If there's like a team maybe under the radar or just like a dark horse team to maybe make the Final 4. Colin, what do you say?
I would go with Ohio State because right now, when I like kind of went through the predictions and kind of mapped out the top 8, I have JMU, OSU in the Elite 8, and I think out of all the 4 matchups, that would be the best one to get an upset. So, I mean, even though Felix thinks they'll make it to the championship.
Yep.
He thinks they're going to win it all. I don't know if I said this, but I think Seaman's going to win it all. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Thanks for the confirmation on that.
Yeah, I just wanted to double check.
I'll say this. I feel like there will be a major upset because I know I said Western, us dark horse. But I mean, we have not had our two best players together except for one game, Josh Wynn and Josh Hicks. But I think Saginaw, because I think they're in that dreaded 7 to 10 range where they can play CMU or Grand Valley in the second round.
Yeah.
And I feel like if they're not paying attention, that they can sneak up on somebody and sneak their way into the Final Four.
Yep.
Very true.
Zigmas, you had something.
So we have a very good question that was posted by somebody. What? No, I didn't delete it. Anything. It says, which Michigan team is going to lose first?
Davenport.
Levi. Let's say that based on the schedule that you guys know, what do you think is the most statistically likely team to lose?
It's got to be Saginaw, second round. So just whichever team they're matched up with that's higher seed than them.
I think they're going to lose at least one game on Saturday, so I think it'll happen on Saturday.
Yeah.
All right.
CMU's going to lose in first round to Western.
Michigan? Yeah, they don't have a team.
No, I said.
You know what? The Michigan State Kent game last year was awesome. I know they played twice last year in nationals, and both games were fairly close. It wouldn't surprise me if it got down to the wire again. I'm not saying that Michigan State would necessarily lose, but they could do it.
I think MSU Towson. I haven't seen Towson play, but I think it could be a really interesting game. I really do. I think State will win it, but I just want to see what Towson. Sean talks a big game with his team, so I want to see him bag it up.
Yeah, I mean, in answer, I don't see Grand Valley Central or myself, our team losing the Final Four, so I would say Saginaw's probably, by default, would be the team then.
Yeah.
In defense of my own talk, I don't say that we could beat Michigan State. I just think a lot of teams would probably anticipate us getting blown out, and I think we could hang tougher with them than most people probably think we could.
I just want to reiterate that question was Brett Hadwin.
Oh God.
The bandana. You're gonna. Well, okay. So you guys don't have privilege to this, but sponsored by Nationals is the Brett Hadwin Bandana Company. They're sponsoring Nationals. Little known fact, contributing some money to Nationals. So you guys gotta give them a thank you for that. West Peters goes CMU, JMU, Grand Valley, MSU. Period. CMU over GVSU.
But no one cares what
10-0.
Wes says.
That's his prediction for the Final Four. What do you
But
guys
we
think?
don't care. He's not even in this.
All right, sure, why not? So Wes Peters gets deleted on his question. He's also MacArthuring as long as possible in the league. I'm super close, I promise. That's what he says.
Can we also can we call this a Jardine Award as well? Because wasn't he in the league for 6 or 7 years?
And guess where he's going next year?
Where who's going next year?
He's going to State.
Who is?
Wes.
God damn it.
Can't get rid of it. It's okay. I'll be here for 7 years too. So.
Can't pass those classes, can you, Nick? It's tough.
Well, I'm going for 2 degrees.
All right.
I am mercifully being done with student loans next year.
All right, I'm going to share my schedule for last time. What do you guys think? Any passing comments before we close out the show?
Yeah, it's a dark screen.
Kevin?
Yeah.
Anybody?
I mean, I'm just excited for the entire weekend. It's gonna be fun.
Always.
All right. Well, Dylan wants John to punch me over my prediction of MSU over Maryland. So you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna flip flop and say I'm gonna go in the East Coast, go a little East Coast bump and say, you know what, Dylan? Fine. Maryland's gonna beat Michigan State.
Now,
And then get massacred by GV, right?
Okay, so on that note, there's one real quick. You guys were talking about sleeper teams a little earlier, and not necessarily a sleeper team to make it to the Final Four, but I never think from the video I've watched that Michigan State gets enough credit. I get they have a sub 500 record this season, but I mean they have beat Central Michigan. They've taken Grand Valley to overtime twice, which is no easy task. And I'm not saying it's going to happen. I know I didn't even pick them to make my Final Four, but they could easily take down. I mean, not easily, but they have the potential to take down Grand Valley. And then they've beaten Central already this year, and I don't know.
Hey,
John, little respect to your team. Little respect, man.
much love.
Much love. Much love, man.
You suck.
Colin has
I didn't
something
even
to
pick
say
my
about
Final Four.
I disagree. We've lost I think it's 10 or 11 times in Grand Valley, so I would say that win percentage really isn't a good judgment of how we are overall.
There you go. Good attitude. Good attitude.
You still suck.
You suck. That's rude as shit.
Colin's wearing his jersey right now. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, he said wear something green. All my other stuff is like white.
the baby powder in the background.
I'm not giving anything away, but this might be a preview of 2015-16 over here.
What does that mean?
Yellow?
Like,
I'm lost.
like the entire year.
The jersey?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
As long as it's not black, because so many teams are going the black route.
As long as it has a number on the front.
Yes.
And the back. And the back. Don't forget the back.
We'll have our jersey number. We'll have our jerseys with numbers on the front, and we'll always have our black alternate.
You could have a baby blue alternate like DePaul.
Our colors are black and gold. What do you want us to do, Zig?
Baby yellow?
White jerseys.
No.
All right. We have a good question next up.
If it's by West, we don't care.
No, it's Brett Hadwin, another Sam Newford.
We like him.
Who's most likely to win MVP of the league this year?
Ooh,
As usual, we have an all-star, it's a First Nationals team. I forget what it's called. First Nationals, All Nationals, something like that. So what do you guys think?
All right.
I think it's determined based off who wins the championship. I think
Yeah.
the best player from the team that wins the championship will get the MVP. I think that's one of it.
All right. So I'll go through my four then. For my Final Four, I'll go through each person who would, if that team won, they'd be MVP. So I'll go for Grand Valley, Trevor Norberg. For CMU, I'll go Michael Riley. For JMU,
Sizemore's legs.
I'll go with Romer. And then for us, I'm going to say Lieblick's going to have a great last game. So I'm going to go with Andy.
I'll give a shout out for Lieblick for doing a lot of the code work for the Lieblick system that's named after him as his namesake. So thank you for doing the coding. I don't have many coders on the staff. It's really. Thank you.
Well, since I picked Grand Valley, I'll go Brent Gromer. I think it would probably be between him and Joey Cardella.
I'll be honest, I didn't really see him do much at the Senior Showdown. I was actually expecting a lot more. If I'm the only one, say something, but I didn't really see a lot.
He was all right. You
I
did
mean,
the games I saw, I guess, but Joey Cardella was really good as well.
Okay.
Who's the guy with glasses on JMU?
Like the bigger
quite
guy,
great.
bigger belt guy.
Yeah, he's pretty great in this showdown.
It was at Butch.
No, there's
Stones.
Stop yelling.
No, there's I can't remember his name. And he's gonna kill me because I talk to him all the time. But he's a guy who was on I think their JV squad for a while and moved up, and he's improved a lot as a player over like the last year.
He must have caught 10 catches at least in our game.
I'm gonna nominate myself for MVP just because I deal with all you guys.
I can't complain about that.
Because I'm supplying pizzas, damn it.
Nick, do you want to give us any shout-outs on any of the staff or alumni that are coming to participate at nationals? And
I like to shout out to Jazzy. He's really helped with the broadcasting, and Alex Heichelbeck. He is going to be our EMT, and he's not charging anything. He just wants a damn shirt. So, going to give him a shirt. Just everyone has helped out this year a lot. Like I mean, there's too many for me. Like the league, everyone stepped up because everyone wants this nationals to be great. And I probably couldn't do all this without everyone. The captains have been great. It's just been great. The league's been my MVP. I love you guys.
All right, I have an answer to the question.
I found it. Don't take credit for this shit.
Fine. John gets credit for this, but the answer is Zach Booker for JMU.
There you go.
Sorry for jumping in.
Asshole.
We've all known this.
all right, at least for the staff that's still watching, it'll be delicious. We'll have pizza. We'll have, as long as you do a lot of work, we'll have some shirts for you. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have the alumni match. We'll have the ladies match. We'll have the all-star game. That'll all be on Sunday. We touched a little bit on the all-star game before. As far as that goes, welcome to nationals, and I think we'll have a very good time. Anybody have some last comments that they want to, last words?
I bet Hanchity shows up and just destroys everybody with face shots left and right.
Yeah. Yes.
Thanks for Nick and all of WKU. So hopefully it'll be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure will.
Damn it, I missed everything. I got disconnected.
What? Is there anything you want to add about the weekend? About like anything in particular, especially that's not at usual tournaments?
Anything that's unusual. Just so everyone knows, we do have one court just designated, and it's in between 3 courts, so we can watch 3 different games at the same time. And we have nets at every court, so fans can sit there and not worry about getting plastered in the face. We have our track upstairs that will be designated to record every game, so you'll have a live overhead shot of every game. Every court will have fan zones where everyone can sit. We'll have a different multicolored balls that will be designated to each court. That way it'll help transition balls, so we're not like, hey, this ball goes there. We will have the hospitality room. We will have the food. Our school's been advertising for the national tournament already. They're trying to get just students to show up just to help support the league. That's mainly it. I don't know anything else, honestly.
Are most teams staying at Motel 6?
Yeah, I think most of them are. I don't think JMU was able to because I think, they were too worried with the CMU showdown. They had to get all that stuff taken care of at first, and I think it filled up way too fast for them.
Is it sold out?
Huh?
Is it sold out?
I haven't.
I believe the hotel, the Motel 6 is shut out as of this moment. The nearby hotel, which is a little bit more expensive, was on the list, which was Holiday Express off of Scotts something and I-65. is still available. I think that'll be the presidential suite.
They may not win nationals, but they will have stayed at the Holiday Inn Express last night.
I was very jealous when DePaul played at DePaul stayed at the Motel 6 in 2011 and walked past the Holiday Inn Express, which I think was like some fancy teams were there, and we couldn't afford it, so we didn't go.
All around a budget.
For any teams that are looking for a cheap hotel in that vicinity, also there's a Pink Hotel less than a quarter of a mile away from the Motel 6, and I think the rate is $65 a night. So that's a good option if anybody hasn't booked their hotel room.
All right. I think we have it all covered. Kevin Bailey, do you want to close us out?
Sure. Well, thanks everyone who's still watching, at least for watching the 2015 Nationals scheduled broadcast. I'm looking forward to, I guess, 2 weekends from now. It's going to be a good time. So this is Kevin Bailey signing off.
Jake Leski signing off.
I'll leave the door open.
Hey, go State this weekend.
No.
Nick, did you just get the light shut off on you?
I did. I'm on campus.
Not
All right.
anymore.
Well, 12:30. Everyone else is at 1:30. Everyone else, congratulations on staying through the entire video.
Somehow.
It's 2 hours, ish.
Yeah.
We got it done.
Go Green.
Bye, guys.
Bye. I don't know how to stop feet.
Oh my God's sake.
I can leave the call.